Coffee is in. Mic is in. Chairs are in. Oh, a little ahead of schedule. 3 minutes ahead of schedule, Mike.
Okay.
You imagine that. You ready?
Yep.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you going to be excited?
I'm excited.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited. I am excited.
I can tell. Here we go.
And now for something special. The unit is self-contained with its own saddler, farrier, wheelwright and so on. It's a rigorous training dished out who know all there is to know about horses, and it brings results.
We take you behind the scenes now to show just some of the interesting aspects of this training.
Yeah. We're twins.
Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine, the award-winning #1 podcast to create sounder horses from ground up. Mike Stine is a registered journeyman farrier with an APF 1 accreditation. On this week's show, Talking Terminology, we're going to talk about the vertebrae. Also, we're going to continue our discussion about the length of the back. And also, if you're not on YouTube, jump on over there right now because we have some pictures, and we're going to discuss some photos attached about the shoe with a horse with inflammation on the shoe ligament or whatever. What are we talking about on the last one?
Yeah, the lateral branch of the suspensory ligament.
So we've got
case
some
that I'm working on.
We have some horseshoes that has some damage, and the horseshoes itself.
It's a little damage too. So,
all right, we'll show all that. We kind of just mumbled through that last part. So, but no, we got a great show to get into, lots to talk about. And the first thing we're going to talk about, Mike, is I went. My wife says the first time that I have gone to a horse show, quote unquote horse show with her. And we've been together physically together. I say physically together, but dating, married, all the collectively, we have been together for 19 years. She's been riding horses way before I was even thought of. And this is the first horse show I've ever been to. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been to clinics. I've been to events. I've been to things, but where my wife has physically sat on a horse, rode in a competition, did the whole thing and got her scores and the victory of the victory, the thrill of the victory and the agony of defeat type situation.
Right. Will you ever do it again?
No. Well, you know what? I probably would not. But you know what? I'll tell you what, the people that I was with, because there was a lot of non-horse people there.
Right.
And they came to support the group. Brett Ingram's whole training facility was out there, and he had 4 or 5 horses out there. He rode a horse. A couple other different riders were out there from his group. It was the support group that I had a great time with.
Yeah.
The husbands, the moms, the people that had not a vested interest in the horses.
They understand the hemorrhaging.
Yes.
Because somebody's got a horse.
Exactly. So there was a lot of horse jokes. Horse jokes were had by all, but there was a lot of support that was there for the riders, and it was fun to sit there and talk and kind of you kind of camp out on these situations. We were at Rayford. My wife was there for 4 days. I was there for just overnight, Saturday to Sunday, and that was just plenty for me. That was just enough for me to have a good time. I'll tell you what, though. One thing that as I'm sitting there underneath this tent, we're just talking and discussing horse stuff and back and forth, I looked, and they had public restrooms for everyone to use. I noticed that the men's restroom wasn't getting a whole lot of use.
Right?
Because
it was not working?
No, just because there was not a whole lot of men there. I mean, this is literally a woman's sport.
An awful lot of times, yes.
Hold on.
Awful lot of times, yes.
And I got to thinking about all the different guests and stuff that we've had on the show. About 85% of them have been, male vets, male farriers, of course. We've had a lot of male guests here on the show.
We have.
But not really riders. Brett was on the show during the first season. He's a trainer rider.
Right.
And Simon Kokoza, he's a rider, but he's a rider turned, trainer type, clinician. It was just weird to see that not weird to see. It was just kind of eye-opening.
Really?
Well, kind of eye-opening to see that 85% of the people that were there were women, which was great. It was awesome. Everyone was doing good. Everyone was getting along with everyone. Fun was had by all, as I say. But it was just kind of eye-opening to see the amount of dedication and a lot of these riders and trainers from all ages. I mean, the ages ran the gambit from anyone who was, I think the youngest one in our group was 14 years old. And then I saw, maybe an 8-year-old out there, a 7-year-old out there, maybe not that young, but I mean, you get what I'm saying, single digits. And then I've seen older people out there, probably 80 years old, probably 70 years old, still sitting on the back of the horse, still going out there, still riding and everything. So it was fun. It was a symposium, I guess. And you know what that is?
A symposium.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to find out.
Okay. From my understanding, the show was kind of like a quote unquote fundraiser for whatever.
Was it NCDTA?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it was. And they don't say a fundraiser. Everyone pays a certain amount of money to show the horse. There's clinician people out there. There's people who just want to spectate.
Well, they had Richard doing some stuff out there, right?
I saw Richard out there. Unfortunately, he was so busy. I mean, he was back to back to back. I didn't get a chance to say hi to him or anything. But, I was there in spirit. Our group was there, and our group was probably about 12 people deep. So I had a good time. It was a good time. And as far as first time I've seen my wife, I think I remember seeing her ride one time when we first started dating. And then this is the last time I've seen her. So there's a 19-year gap. So that's about how often I want to go see the horse show, Mm-hmm. So what have you been up to, Mike?
Well, last week I ended up doing work on a horse over at kind of on a short notice over at Greenock Vet Hospital. And then there's one that we had done a little bit back that I did follow-up on that had a bunch of damage to the tip of the coffin bone and been blowing all kinds of abscesses, and it was kind of on the line of, do we keep this one going or not? And the follow-up, the horse is doing really good, and everything's healing up. We had to go in and take out all the debride all the damaged debris and everything else, get it out of there. But pretty happy guy now.
Well, good. Very good. So, and then Monday starts, and we broadcast every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a little town called Marshall, and then your week starts again.
Yes.
You're right back at it.
Yes, never stops.
Rolling into it. All right, guys. This show never stops because we have a lot to talk about, lots to get into. And don't forget, if you're not over on YouTube right now, go on over there, and you can see this podcast in its full-length form. You can see me waving to Mike, Mike waving to me over there. And you can see all the pictures and videos and stuff that we have here to show you in real time as we're discussing it on the show. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. You ever met Bradley?
No.
You know his wife, right?
Right.
Nicole?
Nicole, yeah.
He's about the same height as her.
Okay.
They're cutest little couple. He's an interesting dude. He's a vet.
Right.
But I think he's more of a cattle vet. I mean,
right.
He is a veterinarian.
He's
an animal veterinarian.
Right.
But I think large animal veterinarian.
Well, most veterinarians are animal veterinarians.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
God, that made me sound so stupid.
Well, I was trying to help,
Thanks, Mike. Oh, but no, he's a large animal veterinarian because he's got cattle and stuff. So he was an interesting guy to talk to.
Yeah.
While we were out there. So, all right, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. We'd love for you to join the podcast, and the way you do that is go to equinedynamics.com. At the very top of the page says, join the podcast. Click on that. You can see all the past episodes that we've had here on the show. That we're wrapping up season 13. We'll be wrapping this up here in probably next week. Actually, next week, not probably. We will be wrapping up next week, and then we're going to take about 3 weeks off, get through the holidays. There's Columbus Day in there, and we'll just take our normal 2-week time off, and then we'll just add one more week in there for good measure, and then we'll come back full strength with season 14. So during that time, that's your chance to go back through and listen to all the past podcasts, get caught up on all the different guests that we've had. Every single one of them have been spectacular. spectacular, have been enjoyable, very informative. So go back through all 13 seasons, about 4 years of shows. Every show is about 35 minutes long.
Right.
You can knock it out over a weekend if you want. If you would like binge listening those shows like you do on your Netflix shows. And over to my far hand side, my very own binge watcher is Mike Stine. How are you?
I am doing okay. How are you, Travis?
I'm all right. Are you just doing okay today, Mike?
I'm doing wonderful, spectacular.
You know,
incredible.
we had a discussion at the beginning of the show.
Yes, we did.
You know, that you were going to be nice and happy and
Happy.
peppy and everything.
Yep.
All right, so you're doing well. You're doing all right.
Yes.
I know. We're wrapping up season 13, and Mike's like
sad.
he's a little
brokenhearted.
I know you're not going to be able to see me for 3 weeks. But,
I'm going to miss you.
But you can go over to YouTube and see me all the time.
Right. I do go to YouTube to see you all the time.
That's great. Now, this is the part of the show where we talk terminology. If you don't know what it is, I'll just give you a little brief recap on it. It's terms and words and phrases that you hear around your barn. You might hear your vet talk about it. You know, veterinarians are animal doctors. Did you know that?
I learned that today. I did not know.
So
I usually go to the veterinarian.
if you want to find out what that joke's about, make sure you go over to YouTube and you can see all the cut scenes in between each podcast. Mike had me going there for a good chuckle there, so you can see that over on YouTube. But these are terms that you might hear, and we kind of define them as what they mean to a farrier, what they mean to a vet, and what they should mean to you. Now, this week, it's a very simple one, but it's a simple one that has a great deal of meaning, and we're going to talk about the vertebrae. Now, when we discuss the vertebrae, the vertebrae is a whole construct of the vertebrates. Is that right? Am I saying that right? Like each one is a vertebrae or vertebrate. You're messing me up. Is it
know.
Each one's a vertebrate and then the whole entire system is a vertebrae? Did I throw you that?
Well, I was under the impression that the vertebrae was each individual one, and when you start stacking them on top of each other and running stuff through the middle, it was the spine.
So you just call
If you don't have any vertebrae, you're spineless.
Actually, you just call the whole thing a vertebrae, or each individual a single one a vertebrae. When actually, I'm going to define it right. I'm going to define it. I'm going to define it right here on my handy dandy cheat sheet here that gets passed on from the producer, who we appreciate very much. She works behind the scenes. She's the one who gets us the topics and everything for Mike, and we appreciate her as well. And it says right here on my handy dandy cheat sheet says vertebrae, a series of individual bones forming the backbone, having several projections for muscle attachments and protecting the spinal cord. Typically, an equine averages 54 turtles 54 total vertebrae, but this can vary according to the breed. So vertebrae.
How long their tail is.
So is that true? Depending on how long the tail is, you're just making stuff up. That's our book of unquestionable knowledge. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about vertebrae, Mike, what are we actually dealing? Why are we discussing it here during the show?
Well, you have the vertebrae down the back. We've been talking about the back, and the spinal column goes from the end of the tail all the way up to the base of the skull, and it's kind of important to have. And if you don't have one, you're a jellyfish.
It's literally the backbone of the horse.
The backbone of the horse, literally.
And go ahead, continue.
And each vertebrae, you have the thoracic vertebrae. That some have ribs coming off of them, and form the rib cage, the lungs in there, and all that sort of deal. And then going to the lower back, where you get below the where you have ribs coming out, you have vertebrae, and in the neck you have vertebrae, and they run all the way up to the tail, and the whole deal. Each little bone is a vertebrae. It's got the spinous process you can feel sticking up the top, and without that, we wouldn't have a horse now, would we?
Now, when I was out there, I tried as best I could, Mike, when I was at this horse show out in Rayford. And I tried as hard as I could to sit there and take in all the knowledge that I had here from the show.
How'd that work for you?
From the 13 seasons. I'm literally, because you say, as a farrier, when you walk into a barn, you listen for the clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. You look at the horse as it's coming towards you. You're looking at the horse as it's walking away from you. You look at the horse from, each side, from the stern.
You lay your hands on it.
Or from the port and the... What's the other side? Starboard and port. And
I don't remember which one had the green light and the yellow light on it.
Right, exactly. So as I'm sitting there and we're underneath this tent, and it was a beautiful, beautiful weekend, or 4-day weekend, out there at this horse show out there in Rayford. I'm sitting there with my head on a swivel watching all these horses, walking by me, going to this arena and going to that arena. And Mike, I could not focus long enough on a horse to actually look and see where the vertebrae, because a lot of times they didn't have saddles on them. If the withers were moving right, and if the shoulder patterns were moving right, if the horse had a different step, the gait, the movement, there was just so many. I mean, I had every chance. I have every possibility to look at every single horse that was out there. And there must have been, if not 200, 300 horses out there. And I probably saw every single one of them 3 times because they would walk by. We were in the main entrance there going into the arenas. And I could not sit there and pick out a flaw on either one of them, any of them. With the vertebrae and, this one's, got a bad this.
Well, that kind of takes years and years and years of watching horses.
Well, Mike,
you can learn to pick it up pretty quick.
Mike, I've been doing this show with you for 4 years now. Why can't I do it?
You should know everything, right?
I should know everything that we've ever discussed.
Well, I mean, that's why I've gotten so good on all the computer and techie stuff, because I've been doing the show with you.
But I was amazed at how hard it is for me, even like I said, doing the show for any length of time, and I could not focus enough to where, that and beers were flowing around the campfire.
That could have been part of the problem.
But no. I mean, in all fairness, I was sitting there trying to look and trying to pick out the little things that I knew. And if a horse was standing still, I'd go around and look at its feet. If it was sitting there long enough, I would sit there and look at the way the shoulders and the way the mane laid. Now, a lot of them had their manes all braided up and stuff, but the ones that didn't, I would sit there and look at the manes. I would sit there and look at the haunches. I would sit there and look at all that stuff. And it was just amazing how many different horses out there. I could not pick out a single flaw in all of them. Not to say that these horses probably didn't have any flaws, because they're the best of the best in their event or whatever. But I was just sitting there looking at all these different horses, and I just couldn't find one. I couldn't find anything like, ooh, that horse is bad. And not only that, the people that I was with have more years of training, looking at horses. I never heard any of them go, oh, that horse has got a lower diphtheria or something like that.
A lower diphtheria, yeah.
Yeah. So the vertebrae, I was looking at all the vertebrae. I did see some that looked a little funny, but I didn't know what I was looking at. I mean, that was my immaturity as far as knowledge on that. So there you go. Vertebrae is the series of individual bones forming the backbone. And if you don't have a backbone, like Mike says, you are a jellyfish. All right, when we come back, we're going to continue actually diving in a little bit more about the structure in the bones. Mike sort of touched on it a little bit about the lumbar and the thoracic bones. And we'll dive into that, talking about the length of the back. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Make sure you follow him over on Facebook. And the reason why you're going to do that is, 1, you love the podcast. 2, you love myself and Mike Stine here. And 3, you're going to learn a lot more about what we discuss here. You're going to further your education over on the Facebook page. Just search Equine Dynamics Mike Stine. And he's got 2 pages up there, a personal page and a business page for the podcast. I say business page. It's the podcast page. If you post on one, chances are you're going to post on the other one. So either way, you've got all the bases covered. And Mike, you posted something the other day where you had like 3 horses, outlines of horses, and then one on the bottom had a green check mark. Like this one had, a schematic of a horse, and it said no. Schematic of the horse, no. And then one more, no. And then finally, the last one was like, this is what you're looking for in a horse. I kind of looked at that.
Sort of a confirmation drawing.
I don't remember what it actually was.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, you had something up there. And I was looking at it, and but it probably makes sense to someone out there.
Somebody can go to the website and take a look at it.
And that's Mike Stine over there, our very own Facebook feed over there. How are you? You doing all right?
I'm doing okay, Travis.
Right.
I'm starting to wake up. I hadn't had enough coffee yet.
I know. You said you're switching over from your cold coffee to the warm coffee because of the weather change.
Hadn't quite yet, but I'm heading there.
All right. So now we're going to discuss the length of the back. And the reason why we're talking about the length of the back, this whole series that we've been dealing with, we've been talking about the actual spine of a horse and going from the front to the tail to the middle to the back, the starboard and the port side of a horse. So we're talking about the length of the back and how it relates to the vertebrae of the horse. So kind of dive in. You touched on it a little bit, so dive in a little bit more.
Well, we're talking about the length of the back, and like your Arabs, they've got an extra vertebrae in the lower back, and they'll have like 19 vertebrae, where some horses will have 18. They'll have one more rib. Of course, Arabs got a lot of lung capacity. On the other end, the one with the shorter back, for me, is easier to get where they can lift. And also, conformationally, depending on the proportions of the horse, you're supposed to have 1/3 shoulder, 1/3 barrel, 1/3 hip. And, those parts need to be in equal ratio if you draw a big circle. That was one of the old ways of looking at how the horse was put together. So, you can have a horse that has a small, light and hindquarters, and it's always going to be hard to get power out of them. And you have a horse that has always been leaning on the shoulders. The shoulders are overdeveloped and big. So that tells you some stuff real quick about how the horse has been using itself. As far as like your Arabs, the ones with a little bit longer back, as far as getting the back end under them is a little tougher. And everybody has done a lot of work with Arabs knows it's a little bit different game with them over your warm bloods and thoroughbreds. But the shorter coupled horse, for me, they can turn easier, they can lift easier. The longer horseback, some people like that for riding because you get a little more give in the back. But the other end, there's catches to everything. The shorter back horse can be more jarring in the movement pattern. So that's what your riding style is and what you're looking for. I know with some of the driving horses, I've talked to people that they prefer a horse with a little bit longer back because they're kind of laying into the breastplate or laying into the collar a bit. As far as pushing the load forward, and they're not making fast turns or tight maneuvers. So
would a longer horse with the extra vertebrae be a good horse to have for the cross country?
Well,
as to being a normal dressage horse?
Well, for jumping, I think the shorter horse does a little better as well as dressage. Where that comes in handy, you take your Arabs and you look at the endurance horses, and they have that extra rib, so they have more lung capacity, and that makes a difference in a horse as far as going the distance. And you got to get enough air in them. With your dressage horses like your wife rides, to me I like a little shorter coupled horse in general for my purposes or for what I'm doing. And but it depends on the situation, what you're asking the horse, and all horses have a certain amount of limitations to them.
One thing I know, I keep talking about the horse show that I just went to, but this is kind of it's reality. It's something that I've experienced, and I'd like to share my experience with other people out there.
Right.
As a new person looking, from the outside looking in, that I saw a someone that was in Western chaps,
right,
and had a Western saddle,
right,
doing dressage.
Yes, they do have a Western dressage.
There was one horse out there, and it was just kind of like everyone kind of looked at this person, female, this woman out there, kind of like, you would be surprised how many people were like going, is there a Western dressage? I don't know. And
there is a Western dressage.
These are people that I'm sitting there talking to. In the group, and a lot of them didn't know. I think my wife said, "Oh yeah, there's Western dressage." She's like, "I don't know how that works. That's not my area of expertise." But
I don't know. I have had people that would do Western dressage and they enjoy it, and
me watching the shows, because if you've ever been to a horse show, I know most of our listeners probably have.
It's about the riders improving their skills and abilities,
and I saw all different sizes of horses,
right,
all different styles of horses, from what I would consider, under 15 hands. And I know about what size that is compared, because I know Diego's 16.3.
Right.
And there was one horse out there that's just easily 17 and 0.5 hands or something like that.
Right.
I mean, there were so many different, and they were all doing almost the same style test.
Right. Yeah, and you're talking about looking at the horse's back and the length. You know, from my point of view as a farrier, you get a lot of information real quick from what's going on up top. You know, if you've got a horse that is pretty straight, as far as the spine is pretty straight, you've got deviations in the spine, that affects gait. And also looking at the elevation, are your hips square or your shoulders square, and have you got good development? So you're looking at either side, and it'd be nice if you could look over the top of the back. And if you ever get a chance to get in a like a driving cart or something like that, it's interesting to look down the back of the horse as they're going and watch everything that's going on in that horse's back. And riders should do that, but that's a good thing. There was a place that we worked, and they had a catwalk over the entrance to the arena, and it was interesting to watch horses go under that where you're directly above them, and see the movement pattern. And we took some of them through without tack on them, just to watch what was going on as they went under. And there's a lot more activity than we think of.
I think I've got $1 million idea, Mike.
Right.
So, Richard
use drones.
Drone. Well, almost.
Somebody probably has.
I'm almost there. You're almost on the. I didn't think of that, but thank you for being the tech guy on the show and thinking of the drone thing. We watched Richard Malgrim out there, and he does the long lining without the rider on it, and it shows the horse that it can move without a rider on it this way. And so that's a technique in itself to train the horse, how important it is for the horse to move without a rider on it this way. Maybe we could work it to where we can follow, maybe like on a Segway scooter. You're not really attached to the horse, where a trainer and the rider can follow the horse behind it and watch the horse. Now, of course, you would have to have someone guiding the horse.
It's funny you might say that. There was a guy down in Georgia who he had his camera rig, and this was real high tech. He had made basically an oversized swing set pole, right? Ran pulleys and used a wash machine motor. And, of course, this was when the camcorders were about the size of a suitcase.
Yeah.
And hang it on there, and you could trot the horse out and run the camera directly behind the horse. And they called that the Casey cam. I don't know if he patented it or what. But, it was a good idea because you could set the camera at different heights. But I think the problem was it was bouncing the whole time.
Now, you were talking about doing the drones.
Right.
I've seen on TikTok and all those other short reel videos, and Mike Stine, if you go over to YouTube, he's got all the short videos over there from all the different podcasts.
And hopefully the drones.
And hopefully the drones, too. But you can see those over on his YouTube channel. I've seen on those short-length videos where people on motorcycles have a drone that follows them.
Right.
You've seen that. They're about the size of a cell phone.
I had no idea.
And what it does is it homes in on you. So maybe Mike, you and I.
You could adapt that to a horse there.
I don't know if it would freak the horse out. It'd be like this big horse fly.
Riding the horse is not my problem, right?
No, but if you're the rider on the horse and you have this drone constantly following you, from behind.
Yeah.
From behind. I'm sure the horse would love that. But from behind, and you can actually see the movement from the back.
Right.
And then you can have someone controlling the drone because it would be focused on you. You were the main focus, like it would focus on your head, but it would circle around you. I don't know if the horse would dig that or not.
The vest that the event riders wear, they're with the air bladder to it, or it blows up.
Yeah.
Poof, for water jumps.
They got cameras on them?
No, they don't have cameras on them, but that was adapted from motorcycle racing.
See, there you go. $1 million idea, Mike. If whoever does it and discovers it, audio trademark, we just want 10%. That's all we want. All right, we got a lot more to talk about. And if you're not on YouTube right now watching those short length videos, now's your chance to go over there right now, because during the next segment we have some photos of horseshoes and what the wearing of these horseshoes are telling the farrier and should be telling you as well. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. You okay?
Yes.
All right. And we're going to go that way? No, we're going to not that guy. Which one do we want to start with first? That?
Just the shoe by itself.
Oh, by itself, okay.
And I got some splaining to do on that.
On this?
Well, the welding on that's terrible. Mm-hmm. But my auto dark helmet, the batteries were out, and it wasn't darkening. So I did have a helmet on. I stuck a piece of cardboard over it, so I was basically welding blind, but not getting my face cooked. I was kind of fiddling with the tip of the tip of the rod.
You don't have to explain to me, Mike. You have to explain to everybody
Well,
else.
I am.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Let's go to this screen. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. If you don't want to go on the air with us, that's fine. We understand that. You can email your question to Mike Stine. The way you do that is just search Equine Dynamics. Go to equinedynamics.com's website. At the very top of the page says contacts. Fill out that little form. Make sure you put your physical return address. And we'll mail you out some free swag. The holidays are coming up. The Halloween stuff should be coming in here. Is being shipped out to us right now, so we're waiting for that to come in. The Thanksgiving stuff will be coming in as well, and we have a whole bunch of goodies for Christmas time. So get your questions in. Make sure you put a physical return address, and we'll send all this out to you as well. And over to my far right side, my very own Christmas special is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Just okay right now?
I'm doing spectacular.
There you go. That's a little bit better. Yeah. So now we're going to discuss. We have some photos here, and this is Mike, and he is taking some pictures. I'm going to switch over to camera 6, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about here on the show. So don't forget to go over to YouTube and see this in real time. So here we go. I'm going to go to camera 6, and we're looking at Mike Stine's beautiful manicure.
Blind welding and beautiful manicure.
He's got his beautiful manicure going on here, and you've got some.
That's a horseshoe. There's a plate stuck in the toe. The horse has a lateral branch suspensory damage, is inflamed, and what we've done here is we've kind of ground down on the ground surface of the shoe to narrow the ground surface up.
Okay.
We've kind of kept the width where the foot sits on it, but with a suspensory, we'll show you in a minute. To keep one thing the foot to slide, the other thing for the heels to go down into the dirt a little bit, and then shorten the length of the branches of the suspensory.
So this across the bottom is you blind welding all this.
Blind welding.
All right.
Yeah, I got out there and the batteries were dead on my Auto Dark helmet, and I was like, oh geez, perfect. And I'm out away from everybody, so the cure was do the old school flip the helmet down.
You didn't have your Halloween Darth Vader helmet out there?
I kind of did, but it wasn't auto darking.
Oh.
So I stuck a piece of cardboard on it so I wouldn't be seeing spots forever. And basically, okay, we're there, strike it. And I'm trying to feel where it is and bounced around. That little tiny welder didn't have a lot of punch to it, but I can. It's portable, and I can plug into anybody's barn and use it.
It looks good, Mike. It looks professional.
No, it doesn't. It does not.
Mike, I say it looks good. So
as long as you think it.
My stamp of approval.
But it's one of those deals where if I told a real welder I was a welder, they'd slap me.
They go, all right, boy, get out of here,
you
kid.
You can see it's kind of with a.
Got it. So now here it is on the horse.
Okay, there it is on the horse. And the idea is when the horse comes in the ground, if he's toe stabbing, he hits on that wide plate and he'll glide a little bit, because part of the problem with the modern arena surfaces, the foot stops, it snaps the pastern forward, and when it does, it really cranks against your suspensories.
Now, is this a design or creation of your own doing?
Oh, yes, it is. No, other people have done different versions of that, and there are some shoes made. I don't carry a shoe made in particular for that because it's not something that I would use regular. And if it was a mild situation, you can forge out the toe. And a lot of my competition horses, I do forge out the toe just to protect the suspensory, give it some extra break over, and get a little glide if they come in toe first. Hopefully, when they're moving out, they're not doing that.
Now, did you do this on all 4 feet or just the front feet or just the 1 foot?
I did that on chicken or egg thing on the back. And I tell you, those old feet were like concrete. They had all that rain for so long, and it's gotten dry, and those frogs and everything were like concrete. It's like my knife wouldn't even want to touch them.
Really? Petrified.
That's why it's not as cleaned up as I might like it. But I don't mind having good frog contact, and it's got a big enough, healthy enough frog that and I left the callus on the top of the frog because I don't want to make it sore, and don't want to take too much out of the bottom of the foot. But anyway, that's rambling on with other things.
Yeah. And you've got, what do you have over there on the table? You're going to show?
On this leg.
Hold on,
we can show.
There we go.
This dark brown, this would be your suspensory ligament coming down. It splits up in this area, bifurcates, becomes 2. It ties into your sesamoids, and then the branches of your suspensory come from the sesamoids, come around, and they tie into your extensor process. So if I take this bone, and when I impact the ground, I move it this way, it shortens the distance between here and here. If it is a upper suspensory, it's a little bit different deal as far as managing that. and that is this guy's going to be arrested. When they ultrasounded on the side that's damaged, it was about 3 times the diameter of the other one's swollen up.
And you're talking about the horseshoe that we were just looking at right here.
That's what that ends. So that broad plate, if you're on soft ground, sits on top, creates some flotation, and since the branches are narrower, it allows that to push. Okay. The wide plate creates flotation up here, and the narrow branch, allowing soft ground, it will push this way a little bit and allow a little bit of slack in that suspensory ligament. And we're going to, this guy's going to be arrested for a while and hand walked. And
when you say a while, week, 2 weeks, month, 4 months?
Well, right now the vet's saying 3 months.
Okay. Now, what does the owner say? Because if this is a working horse, usually they don't take that advice. They go, well, he's fine.
They better. We had some discussion about this, and he doesn't see any big tears. It's just inflamed. But if you keep working against that and it keeps getting inflamed, eventually you're going to get some ugly stuff forming in there. And the more you do it, the easier it is for it to flare up again.
And he's going to take 6 months off, whether you like it or not.
He's going to take 6 months off, whether you like it or not. And so we're going to go for 3 months. They are doing shockwave treatments, so the vet will be handling that, and he should come back to work. But it's like I told him, you're always going to have to be a little careful with his fitness level and all that. Anytime you have, and you don't want to get into a recurring injury thing. And they're like, well, exactly how did it happen? I said, what's he doing in the field with his buddies? He says, oh, they go ballistic. Sometimes horses do get suicidal. And because when they're riding this horse, it's not like they're doing anything extreme. He does work in the arena, but it's not like they're spinning him hard or anything like that.
And what is what training discipline does he do?
Well, he is a Western horse.
Western dressage.
No, he's not dressage.
Oh,
he's not dressage. He is a Western horse, and I hadn't quite figured out what he does. He
does something.
They've worked some cows on the rail. They've done some easy patterns. It's not exactly a reining horse, and
barrels or anything.
No barrels. No
balloon shooting.
No balloon shooting. But
that's the extent of my knowledge.
It's something for the young lady to enjoy, and it's kind of I worked for mom, I worked for grandmom, now I'm working on granddaughter's horse.
Well, good.
So it's kind of like all in the family.
It's a legacy.
Yeah.
All right, one more little segment. We'll let you get back to playing with your pony. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. You can join the podcast. Go to equinedynamics.com. At the very top of the page says join the podcast. Your voice can physically be heard right alongside of us here in the studio. Opens up a mic on your device. Speak right into it. Comes right to our inbox. We broadcast every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town called Marshville. Your voice can be heard right here alongside of us here on the show. You can ask us anything from any of the 13 seasons of shows that we've had here on the podcast. Getting ready to start season 14 at the end of October. So get your questions in now. You have plenty of time to go back and listen to all the different shows. Line up your questions, get them to us, and we'll answer them here on the air. And over to my far end side, my very own Q&A man is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you?
Doing well. So what did we learn today, Mike?
What did we learn today?
Well, we learned that the vertebrae can be described as several different things, according to Mike. So what is a vertebrae?
Well, each little bone in the spine column is a vertebrae, and we all have to have them or we're a jellyfish.
All right, and what I have here on my handy dandy cheat sheet is a series of individual bones forming the backbone, having several projections for muscles to attach, and protection of the spinal cord. Typically, an equine has an average of 54 total vertebrae. This can vary according to breed. Now, I know when you talk about projections of muscle attachments and stuff, and protecting the spinal cord, I've got two bad vertebrae on two L2 and L5 on mine, so my vertebrae are going very. I'm not.
That doesn't sound good.
I'm not good at all.
We'll have to put you down here before long.
Wheelchair here, we're rolling around. Also, why are we discussing the length of the back and also the lumbar and the thoracic bones that are in there?
We are talking about the length of the back because it directly affects the performance of the horse, and is part of the confirmation deal. And as far as a farrier, people, oh my God, look at feet. The first thing I look at is the back. And
I looked at 500. I looked at.
Says, well, my horse is doing this and this and this. You look at the muscle development.
And I looked at 500 horses, and they all look the same to me this weekend.
And you look at a horse standing there, and you look at the back, you can pretty well tell, if they're tracking straight or not. What you need to know, and you're going to have to make adjustments for that with your work. And of course, when you talked about the club-footed horses and all that affects back alignment. And if they're uneven up front, they will be uneven in the back end. You can count on that. And
we're also discussing the photos that Mike took of a horse with inflammations and lateral branch of the suspensory ligament. And you want to see the horseshoe first, or you want to show your little model over there first?
Just show the model.
All right. So that's not the model. There's the model.
Okay. The suspensory ligament comes from behind the knee down, splits, ties into your sesamoids, and comes around to the extensor process. And we were talking about a horse that had inflammation of the suspensory ligament on one side, and we're trying to help him out so he can go back to doing his thing with the young lady who rides him.
And this is where's it at? Oh, here it is right here. This is the
blind welding shoe.
The blind welding shoe.
I got batteries now.
There's one, and then here's the horse on the horse.
Right.
Got it? Everyone got it? Made a note? Took a picture of it? All right, guys. If you enjoyed the podcast and you like this podcast to perform out at your location, your clinic, your horse show, anything like that, go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says clinics. Fill out that little form. Like I said, we're taking about 3 weeks off here. We have one more show left in season 13, and we'll have some free time, and we can sign you up. And we can come out there to your location and bring this podcast exactly the way you see it here on the air. We can bring it out to you, go out there, shake some hands and kiss some babies, that type of stuff. We have a lot of swag we can bring you as well. And we can also generate a good audience for you as well. It's always fun to have us out there. Mike is a very good family person. Q&A questions for the people who have them. We can do them personally, face-to-face with him. We can do that. Just fill out that little form. On behalf of Mike Stine over there,
have a good day. Enjoy your ponies.
My name is Travis, saying see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Just close your eyes and dream, little pal.
Okay.
Dream of someone.
We are professionals, Mike.
Hi, Lucky. Good night, Ned.
Good night, Ned.
Good night, Ned.